Thank you very much, Pam, for being here with us today. Super happy to have you. I'll give you the floor so that you can introduce yourself. But basically, Pam, she's a founder. She's a communication expert. She is an entrepreneur, obviously, and what she does best is reduce cost, help teams save time. And with that, thank you, Pam. The floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I'm the owner and founder of Hurley Write. Started the business about 35 years ago. I was in academia at the time. And one of the things I realized was that my students who weren't English majors, engineers and physics majors and folks like that, weren't getting the writing skills that they needed to be successful in the workplace. And so I developed a technical writing course for them. And then I realized, hey, there's probably people in the professionals in the real world who could benefit from this. And so started from there, and 35 plus years later, we're going strong. So that's kind of my backstory.
And you have a lot of reviews and a lot of pharma experience, as I'm seeing. So, what is that about pharma that you believe that it's something that you can make an impact or make a change, or is it something? Was it like coincidence, or is that a very specific industry that you're helping to?
Yeah, most of our clients are either pharma or engineering. Those are the two biggest spaces we work in. So, pharma's issue oftentimes is they have to provide documents to the FDA. The FDA can then approve their device or their drug or whatever the case may be. If there are a lot of questions in those documents, then the drug or the device can be delayed, and it costs millions and millions and millions of dollars. So we help them kind of get clarity on the documents themselves and how they submit to the FDA and things like that. With engineering, it's kind of the same idea in that if you have a project that you're working on and it's unclear what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, the client is unclear about what you've done, then obviously projects are delayed, that costs time. So there's a lot of money involved and time involved in poorly written documents, which a lot of companies don't realize. They don't understand that there's a price tag for every day that a document is unclear, which results in delayed projects, the FDA, coming after you with questions and things like that. So clear documents have a definite benefit in lots of different ways, not the least of which is money and time.
So it sounds like there's a waste involved in this process where, again, something that they might not know about. So I'm wondering myself on how is that you go about to educate. That's the only way that you can probably enhance the impact in the industry is like education to these companies and big corporations to let them know, hey, you're having a waste, you're having a leak that it's millions of dollars in results. So how do you go about educating them to empower your impact into the industry in the first place?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question because there's a lot of education involved. So typically when a client comes to us, they'll say, well, our writers need help. Our writers stink. The documents stink. And that may well be. But what we do is what we call the pros communication diagnostic. And what that is we go into your company, we look at your documents, we look at the reviewer comments, we analyze how much time it's taking, we look at templates, we look at SOPs, we look at all of those things to make sure that they're working together. Because even if the writers improve, let's just say theoretically you have a writing workshop, the writers improve, if the reviewers are still giving conflicting comments, if they're taking too long, then it's all for naught. Or if your templates, and we see this a lot, the templates are absolutely useless. Companies pride themselves on having templates thinking that that's going to solve the problem. Rarely does it solve the problem because typically they're not useful. Nobody uses them. Nobody knows how to use them. So you have that, and then you have a lack of standards, so nobody knows what's expected. And we see this in multi-million-dollar companies. It's just, we've shown a few companies, one company in particular, we showed them how they could save $175,000 a month just by reducing the time that reviewers are spending and putting processes in place. So it's kind of amazing when you think about it. But again, very rarely do companies attribute time and money lost to poorly written documents or a poor review process.
Yeah, that's insane, because sometimes these companies, they create their SOPs and they don't refine them. They don't evolve with the company growth. So
Right.
and then those are obsolete, and they don't realize, and they don't use them. So everyone is doing whatever they're doing. So it makes absolute sense what you're referring to.
Exactly. And SOPs are another. We're working with a company right now, and I'm not kidding. Their SOPs, they've been working on them for 8 years.
Wow.
The problem is nobody wants to do them. They're very tedious. I get it. So we help companies write them too, so they don't have to write them themselves. But it's one of those things. We've had clients that, everything's good, and then somebody doesn't follow an SOP, a deviation occurs. We had one client where somebody almost lost an arm because of a poorly written SOP. So SOPs are incredibly, incredibly important.
Yeah. So now with this, I know exactly why are you better than McKinsey or BCG or whatever in terms of some of the consulting, because they might know a broad spectrum of things, but they're not super specialized on the writing. Well, it's not just writing. It's not like you're writing. It's just writing to enhance profitability, to save, to make everyone more productive, waste of time, all those things. So now I get it. When it comes to AI, because obviously AI is enhancing the writing power of individuals, how are you guys leveraging this transformation at the moment with corporations?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because what's happened with a lot of people is they've brought in AI, but they haven't trained their folks how to use the AI. And so what's happening is they've done studies that have shown that they're less productive with AI. So it's like any other tool. It's a great tool. You still have to train people how to use it and to use it well and to do the right prompts and that kind of thing. So we've actually created some workshops, for instance, a technical writing workshop that shows people the foundational concepts that we teach about technical writing, but also how to incorporate AI into that. Because again, if you don't, whether you use AI or not, you still have to know who you're writing for, what you're trying to accomplish, all those things. You can't just say, hey, write this for me and expect that it's going to be a productive document, an effective document that a client or a reader is going to embrace and understand. So it's a misperception that AI is going to solve everybody's writing issues, because we're not there yet. And I don't know if we ever will be, but we're certainly not there yet.
Absolutely. And imagine, like, you cannot force an individual trying to make their role better, not using AI. So you might as well have your SOPs and probably having some prompts on the SOP so that you enhance these individuals with some of the things that they have to do. But it is sometimes, like you say, more harmful. And now obviously on pharma, it is super regulated. Like,
yes,
you cannot jump in and just put whatever into our pharma policies. That's not a good idea to do.
Yeah. Well, with the breaches and the hallucinations and everything of AI, I mean, it's just, again, we're not anti-AI at all. Quite the contrary. But you have to have standards in place. People have to know how to use it. All those things have to be in place before you incorporate AI into your workflow.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And just to probably, if you had another of those case studies or you don't have to say names or whatever, but those are very interesting. Some of those eye-opening, like, hey, how is it possible that a company is saving $172,000 per month? What are those, or another example that you can recall of another saving or another enhancement that you have done?
Yeah, I think one of the things that companies don't, for instance, engineering firms. So you're paying, let's just say for the sake of argument, an engineer $100,000 a year. You're paying that engineer to write as well. So the longer that engineer takes to write, the less time that engineer has to engineer. We worked with another company, again, large, very, very large company, and we showed them how they could save about $25,000 a month just by reducing the review time and putting a process in place for the reviewers, because they had no process. Reviewers were just, here's the document, and reviewers were just getting to it when they could. So they're slowing down the entire process, but there was no accountability for the reviewers. If I wanted to take 2 months to get a document back to you, I could. That's insane. Absolutely insane. And so writers they didn't know what to expect. They didn't know when the document was going to get back to them. So their work is being delayed because they don't know when the reviewers are going to get their work back to them. So we've done multiples of these and always show our client how they can save a lot of money and a lot of time. We've never had a case where we weren't able to illustrate that. And we show them in, here are the examples, and here's what you could do differently. So we show them what they can do differently to improve their processes and save time and save money.
Can you imagine the ROI from when you start until the end of time? Because you're basically installing a legacy. Like you're having something that is not going to get worse. Like it carries on, and they could use the money or the funds that they're wasting there into leverage, into client acquisition, into whatever that is. Like you can imagine being a business owner thinking, oh my God, like it's insane how much it will be. So kudos to you guys. I was super happy to learn more about the model. Now, obviously on the website, I had an idea and talking to you as well in our other call, but this is great. Like super aligned with what you're doing. Any advice for a business owner? Obviously, we're going to have listed your website. We're going to have your LinkedIn. So if someone's having a question, they can engage with you and ask you whatever. What are some of the KPIs for someone to say, yes, I remember what Pam said. That makes sense. I need to talk to her because I'm having the same issue. So what if I'm a business owner and I have this, my documentation or my processes? What are the things or the signs that you are having a massive waste in your business?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question, and something a lot of people don't do. But number one is, what kind of questions are you having from clients? Are the questions are they increasing? Are they decreasing? What are they? Very rarely do companies take the time to assess the kind of questions that they're getting, and that's really important. So if I'm getting questions about content, right, that's one thing. If people are confused about the goal of the document or what it is they're supposed to do, that's another. Another thing to look at is, is the writing improving? If the writing is not improving, because we hear this all the time, well, I make comments and the writing's not improving. If the writing's not improving, there's a reason for that. It's because the comments you're giving aren't actionable. And so we help reviewers with that as well. And think about how much you should be assessing, how much time it's taking to get documents out the door. And how many rewrites are there? How many iterations are there? Are there 5 iterations? Are there 3? Are there 1? So those are things that we document all kinds of stuff in business, but very rarely, I always say the document is the deliverable. That's the face of your organization. And if you don't know how well that document is performing, you've got a problem. And very rarely do companies ever say, well, gosh, I really need to think about that. They think about, all this other kind of stuff, but you've got to know how well your documents are improving. How well are they accomplishing their goals?
Yeah, good points there. Pam, I super appreciate your time and the explanation of the business, and I really like the model. I really like how you guys are making an impact on all the companies that you're helping. And I'm sure that once they ask you for their help because of the impact that you're making, they're going to go and tell other people, and you have another like a recommendation, and that's a great way to work. Any last remarks? Any last actionables that you can provide?
No, I just think if you're a business owner and you want to make more money, then you need to look how effective your documents are, because you're losing money if your documents aren't accomplishing their goal. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, most businesses never even bother to take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Pam.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.